We can progress and we can become, we can perceive these subtler, more delicate inspirations. Because if we eat flesh food or any animal substance really, what happens is that pulls our grade down to 1. It pulls everything down and it nurtures, it actually feeds the beast within, the self within, the animal man. But it's at the expense of the S-man, of the spiritual man. And the subtler things get overwhelmed by this grossness that comes from the animal substance. So if a person's going to progress toward greater glory, toward greater peace, love, understanding, harmony, beauty, glory, brotherhood, sisterhood, familyhood, famine avoidance, because we can all live together upon this earth easily. It has to start with the foundation of the vegan diet. Once we have that foundation, though, that we can rise up and we can perceive all these different subtleties depending upon what Jehovah created us with and where we're progressing, what we choose to do. So the prophet of Jehovah can perceive all these things and how all these people are dealing with the signs of the times and what are they, how are they choosing to apply it in their lives and in the lives, how are they affecting the lives of others with regard to this. And so the prophet of Jehovah looks at the signs of the times, the Oahspe, and perceives, if he or she can, the direction of Oahspe, where Oahspe is going, and their closeness or distance to this. Now this doesn't mean that Jehovah, by the way, is only going to let in the All-Highest, because Jehovah in his wisdom also allows in that train of wake that follows, that those behind here of lesser light than those at the front who are of greater light. And so that has to be taken into consideration as well. But we can know where Oahspe is going, not only through perceiving where we are in the Etherian roadway and through the Etherian realms that we're going through, because these Etherian realms themselves have these draws, have these pulls, and they inspire, they induce people. When we go through those realms, as mortals, we respond to that. And we don't even know why. If we're, in particular, well, if we're immersed in the animal realm, we don't have no idea why. And even if when we're on our way to progression, we might not know why either, because there's 3 resurrections. The first resurrection is perfecting, getting self squared away, right? In the cleanliness and the purity and the clarity and all that, cleaning and doing things and helping and all that. And yes, it's for improving self and all that. And the second resurrection, then, which is essentially represented by atmospheria, and earth we could consider to be a first resurrection, then one is still in progression and has not reached the emancipated grade, which is up in Etheria, which is where the clarity of vision truly comes from. But we can know certain things, we can perceive and understand certain things. And for example now, Oahspe, if you look at the daughter of Jehovah, then her glyph, her symbol, is the, well, for you it would be here, and you have an upper arrow, upper foundation pointing that way, and you have the lower foundation arrow pointing that way. And so it's showing you a clockwise spin, which is in the direction of light, which is the ne, which is the masculine, which is the male, which is the Jehovah, compared to the drift, which is feminine and receptive and of Om, the feminine of Jehovah. So Oahspe is going to move in the direction of light. So we know that. But and can we know anything more about it? Well, yes, we can. And it's also going to move in righteousness, and that's symbolized by where the glyph there, that square, is essentially the measure of righteousness, which we'll get to later on, as far as the righteousness and the measure of righteousness. This little symbol there, which is a part of the Oahspe. We can understand then that Oahspe is going to move in a certain direction toward a certain end, and events are going to converge toward certain things happening because of the draw or the pull in these Etherian fields that we go through, but also from heaven as well, from the angels up there, from Jehovah's kingdom. But they're not using this to tell us what to do. They're there to help us to unfold in Jehovah, to realize Jehovah, to become one with Jehovah, to become an individual who's capable of standing on their own and living in light and love and peace and harmony and true righteousness, not self-righteousness, but that which is of Jehovah. We can see those things if we look for them to some degree or other. Everybody has some capability of perceiving these things, and we all get attracted to some extent by the draw. Even if we're a druk, meaning the lowest of the low, as far as behavior goes and all that, but we can still respond. We can still respond to those draws. But it's not just humans either that have this S draw. All the creatures have it. Plants have it. The animals that you see out there, even the carnivores have it. And because you might wonder, well, okay, there is a corporeal explanation as to why crocodiles, for example, get the water buffalo, because they hang out right where the water buffalo is going to cross and all that. The Oahspe, those who have a corporeal only explanation about it, or a limited explanation, will say, well, because of those reasons and all that. But there's a more of an unseen reason, and that's because the crocodiles actually draw the buffalo to them, the water buffalo to them. They actually pull them in with their S. We can experience the same thing. And for example, if you have a young man and a young woman, and the young woman particularly, because she has S in ascendancy, or the feminine in ascendancy, which S is, and S is where that draw is, and she can be alluring, and allure in the young men and all that. She can draw people to her. Well, it's not just her, but other males, because we also have the feminine within as well as the masculine. We can also do this thing, but to do it for self purposes rather than for Jehovah's sake is to actually sink down worse into the mire, into corporea, into the darkness, and get lost. Essentially then, we have Oahspe moving in a certain direction, which creates a draft behind it, or a draw, a pull, that brings along a whole train of everything that goes along behind it, toward some end, whatever S is moving toward. And whatever the end that is, and we know it's going to be a righteous end, and that it's going to be moving in light. And we can know more than that, depending upon other considerations, which we won't go into now because that's going too far afield from what we're talking about here. But we do know that 15, Oahspe, not that Oahspe is 15 totally, because that's only one of the winds. There's also Sephome, which is number 77, but we won't get to that in Samoan until later.